Contractor
Terrific.
Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by HVAC Trust Books. Go to hvactrustbooks.com to discover how this tool can help you close more sales. Thank you for joining us. Here is how we will help your business and you today. Maintenance plans. The backbone of a financially healthy contracting business. What does it take to grow them? How do you build a culture where everyone understands the value of maintenance clients and the importance of them? My guest today, Bob Barnes, took over his father and uncle's heating and air conditioning company, Western Heating and Air Conditioning. Since then, he has grown their maintenance agreements, called Blue Ribbons, to more than 4,000 Blue Ribbon clients. Let's find out how he did it. Bob, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Thank you, Ruth.
And you took over your uncle's and your dad's company when? 19 what?
I took over, I became a partner with my dad in 96.
But you'd worked in the company for a while and then decided it wasn't for you and then came back, right?
Oh, yeah, kind of right early when I was right out of high school. That's kind of how it went. And
All right.
Then I was convinced that I was incorrect and told I needed to be there.
And so you were. And in the beginning, it was you weren't sure that this was for you, but then you kind of drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably about as accurate a cliche as you could come up with. I just started sort of drinking the Kool-Aid and figuring it out. And then, as I became more and more involved and a little bit had more control, became the general manager in 99 and decided that, then I was put in a position where I actually could make some changes and make some things happen if we were going to go anywhere. And that's when I started looking towards the ways to improve and generate more business and actually grow from a predominantly RNC, residential new construction company, to something a little more service oriented and get a little hopefully a little better profits as well.
Right. So when you took over, how many maintenance agreements were there? Do you remember?
Less than 1,000. Less
than 1,000. And were they called Blue Ribbons at the time, or did you come up with that name?
No, I didn't come up with that. My dad actually came up with that. And I think, if I think back, there was probably about 750 when I took over.
All right. So when did you drink the Blue Ribbon Kool-Aid?
Oh, gosh. We started working on it a lot more and focusing a lot more on service and tying down, for lack of a better term, tying down clients and actually putting them in your net, and keeping them under your service base, not letting your competitors. It kind of keeps that from happening. So we started doing that. And I think I was up to about 1,800, right around 2,000, no, about 1,500. And then I met you and we started talking and discussing growing it and building it. And there was a target number of about 3,000 out there that you told me that if I could get it to 3,000, then the system will sort of set itself on autopilot and it becomes a much easier thing to manage. And that's really truly about when it all happened, when it all really started coming to fruition, was right around that 3,000 number.
Yeah.
And for us, just based on the size we are and the size we were, we found that 4,000 was the magic number to really kind of give us a great balance. And we actually got to where 4,000 was a little bit much because we didn't quite have enough techs. If we had good weather and the shoulder season was shorter, we found it was a little bit difficult to get to everything with 4,000. So we've grown our tech base a little more, and now we're looking at trying to maybe put it on and take it up to about 4,500 will be our new target number. We feel like that'll give us a good balance and kind of help us keep everything on an autopilot status.
Cool. And if I remember correctly, you and I had conversations that you used to go into the service meetings and talk about blue ribbons until you were blue in the face, right?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to make your team and specifically your technicians understand the importance of it and why uh, it's important, because they don't want to go out and sell. And I know that selling blue maintenance is not the proper term with you, Ruth. It's an enrollment thing, but regardless of what you call it, that's what they feel like they're doing. And it was basically a common sense thing with them. If you sat every technician down individually or as a group, um, there wasn't a single one of them that would ever disagree with me when I would say that is not regular maintenance the absolute best thing that one of your customers can do to add life and insurability to their system. And they all agreed, and you just kind of beat that in right there, because if that's what they think and they really truly agree with it, then you can convince them that as a common sense move, doesn't it make sense to have these people want to have maintenance done to their system, and in our case twice a year. And once they really agree with that and they feel like that is the proper thing to do, well, then obviously they're going to get a better deal if they sign up on a maintenance agreement than if they just pay it right out of their pocket each time we come. And of course they agree with that. And then you've got them, then they're drinking the Kool-Aid, because not only are they doing what they believe in, but they're also being able to give their customer the very best deal. And there's not a technician in the world out there that doesn't want to give their customer a great deal. So you've got kind of that win-win thing right there, because they believe that's the best thing for the customer, and you're giving the customer the best way to finance or bring that into their home. And it's the absolute best option. And once you got that, then you get the techs on board. Then you just have to teach your CSRs and train them so that they start planting those seeds into the customer's head, so that the customer is not hearing it for the first time from a service technician, because the service technician is not good at handling objections. And so the minute a service technician runs into a customer who's going to give them pushback, they'll quit on that, and they'll quit. And if they have that happen several times in a row, then it's a complete character rebuild for them, and that's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I remember correctly, you took about 18 months to get them all on board, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it's not an easy process, and it's a continuous, it's like raising children. Got to remind them to wash their hands, brush their teeth, and make their bed every single day. And the minute you lay off it, they're going to stop doing one of those things. And so you do it and do it and do it until they're 18 years old. But fortunately with service techs, it didn't take 18 years. It took more of about 18 months.
That's good. That's absolutely good. Okay. When we get back from break, we're going to talk some more about getting the maintenance agreement program or the blue ribbon program ingrained in your culture. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I've seen my clients' salespeople struggle when a customer asks why they should use your company rather than the competition when your price is higher and you both are proposing the same equipment. I've seen technicians struggle when customers ask them whether they should replace an 18-year-old air conditioner. And most salespeople and technicians never ask the one question that most customers are concerned about, yet never ask. Can I trust you? I found a tool that gives your salespeople and technicians the ammunition to answer this question and more. And the tool works. How do I know? 68% of my clients are using it to increase sales and referrals. What is it? A trust book with your name on it as the author. More details are at hvactrustbooks.com. Warning, there is only one contractor per area that can get these great books. Some areas are already taken. They've gone to my clients. If you want your area and want to have a tool for your salespeople and technicians to increase referrals and sales, then go to hvactrustbooks.com now and reserve your area. I've seen my clients' salespeople struggle when a customer asks why they should use your company rather than the competition when your price is higher and you both are proposing the same equipment. I've seen technicians struggle when customers ask them whether they should replace an 18-year-old air conditioner. And most salespeople and technicians never ask the one question that most customers are concerned about, yet never ask. Can I trust you? I found a tool that gives your salespeople and technicians the ammunition to answer this question and more. And the tool works. How do I know? 68% of my clients are using it to increase sales and referrals. What is it? A trust book with your name on it as the author. More details are at hvactrustbooks.com. Warning, there is only one contractor per area that can get these great books. Some areas are already taken. They've gone to my clients. If you want your area and want to have a tool for your salespeople and technicians to increase referrals and sales, then go to hvactrustbooks.com now and reserve your area. We are back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I'm here with Bob Barnes, owner of Western Heating and Air in Boise, Idaho. And Bob, before the break, we were talking about taking about 18 months to get the techs to actually, quote unquote, drink the Kool-Aid. Now, how did you help train the CSRs, or did you train them?
Actually, we reached out to another company that did some training, and what they did was they recorded the calls, all of the calls, and then they listened to the calls, and then they would do some on the phone consulting and training with our CSRs. They did an on-site training with them first, and then did just that continuous training. And as your management team sort of learns what the technique is and what the actual purpose is that you're trying to achieve, and you start working on that, then it's a two-fisted training team. You've got the training people that you hired, and then you've got your own people backing it up. And I think that's the best way, because I think that it gives validation to what you're trying to do when an outside source is agreeing with everything you're saying and everybody's on the same page. And I think it's doubly effective. It's a little more expensive, but I think you get a better result a lot faster.
No, I would agree. Now, when you started, and there were about 700 maintenance agreements, and when we started working together, around 1,500, were they twice a year, before spring and before fall, or were they always year round?
They were twice a year, and we were probably promoting it more of a spring and fall type deal. But as we started growing them and getting more and more, we had to go away from that and just go to a twice a year maintenance, that it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like, I always related it to getting your teeth cleaned by the dentist. You go in twice a year and get your teeth cleaned, but you don't necessarily do it right before the biggest meal in the year, Thanksgiving, just because, that's the time. It's just the fact that you have it done twice a year maintains the efficiency and the longevity of the system. So I wanted everybody to get away from promoting it as spring and fall, because if we can't predict the weather, and we never know what's going to happen. And if you set yourself up that way and you get your customers always thinking like that, then you may be having a fabulous fall and had some cool weather come in early, and you can't go do all the new work that you want to do because all your maintenance agreement people are calling you wanting their fall cleaning before, they feel like they got to have it done before winter gets there, or they're going to be paying through the nose. And so you got to be careful how you promote it. And I would encourage everybody to not promote them as shoulder season treatments or services, but just that it has to be done however many times a year you choose to do it in your area. Whether I know some people do it 3 times and others only do it once. So however many times you're going to choose that you're going to do it, you need to be in control of that, because that is the beauty of a truly successful maintenance program, is when you're in control of when your technicians go out there, and it's at your convenience, not at the convenience of your customer per se.
And now that you've got some technicians who all they do is maintenance, is that right?
Absolutely. We grew it to that point, and now we use that as a training platform for service technicians. And everybody in the business knows that service technicians are coming harder and harder to come by. It's a great training platform for service technicians. You can put them in and you can teach them the proper way to do maintenance. And, as all of us know, when you go out to do maintenance, sometimes you find something's already not working, or you find something that's going wrong and you suggest a repair, and you put it in and you think it's all ready to go, and you turn the system on, it doesn't work. You have to do some troubleshooting to figure it out. Maybe you miswired something. Maybe you didn't wire something quite up right. Maybe you wired something backwards. I'm the first one to raise my hand. I've blown a few transformers myself in the past because I did things wrong. But that's a great training platform. And when you get to train your guys on that on your on your um, on your platform under your guidance. It's much better than when it's on a customer's dollar and they're sitting there over their shoulder watching them, wondering why their system doesn't work. But no, it's a great training platform, and it's a true benefit when you get to have that many, that you can actually have techs who are basically maintenance techs and doing maintenance pretty much all the time. And then they learn some basic knowledge. And then when you do have your really heavy season, your really busy stuff, you can plug them in and they can actually go out and make you some good money.
Well, not only that, they use the maintenance to learn. I mean, they're in
it's a great training platform.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And the poor service managers and field supervisors who have to deal with it, right?
Yeah, but I think every single, if you've got a good service manager and trained supervisor, everybody knows that they were in that boat at one time and they had to learn too. And to give our guys that kind of field experience. And the other thing that's great about those guys is they truly understand the value of the maintenance agreement, and they're always working on renewals for you and keeping that going. And they usually have a little more time to spend with the customer and talk to the customer. And these younger, all of our training guys have a tendency to be millennials, and those guys love to talk. And those are the guys that if you can get those fresh, new, young people that don't have that old-fashioned service technician mentality, boy, you can train them to be superstars. And we've really brought some great quality technicians up from ground zero all the way up into getting into the fourth level now. Service technician, and we've got some superstars, and it's all because of that. So
right. I mean, it is a great training ground, as you said. Now, what about the office people are also into it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have had a lot of really fun contests with our CSRs, with enrolling blue ribbon agreements.
Thank you.
And we've also had a lot of fun, which is really interesting, and it just kind of came to this year, was having contests with the CSRs at booking calls when we were slow, and having so many calls booked before noon. If they all booked, if they got the goal number booked before noon, the office manager bought them all iced coffees or something for the day, and stuff like that. If you were trying to fill, when it's that shoulder season and you come in on Monday and you don't have calls for your techs all week, and you need to fill some, boy, you get them on the phone and they start filling that up, and you challenge them to fill it before noon for the next day, and if they do, they get a reward. Man, that has been really fun, and it's something I would have never thought of, but that's a real good gem there to pass on to people, to give your CSRs something else to do too. It's not just enrolling or setting up the service technician so he can enroll, but also, getting those people on the schedule during those times of the year and making use of their downtime when the phones aren't ringing.
Right. All right. Any final thoughts you want to say about maintenance?
I just think that you need to know what it's going to take. And we have some rough figures. I know you have some rough figures. I know depending on the company, probably 300 to 400 maintenance agreements per tech. I think that's right.
Yep, that's what we do.
Yeah, if you sit down and figure that out, you can pretty much figure what you're going to need for your business to run it the way you want. And I think it's true. I think once you hit that number, it really helps even out a lot of those low shoulder months, and kind of helps put the business on autopilot. And it really does change everything.
Cool. Bob, thanks for joining us today, and thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. You're welcome anytime.
All right. And thank you for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email ruthking@hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.